Hello, I'm Grammy Fox. Welcome to my story channel. Make yourself comfortable. The story I have for you is called Angry Ashton. One Saturday, Ashton tried to take a nap. He felt exhausted because he had stayed up too late watching a movie. He had just fallen asleep, but suddenly awoke from the sound of bark, bark, bark. Ashton opened the window and shouted, "Be quiet! Stop making all that noise!" Do you think the dog stopped? No, he just barked more. That made Ashton angry, and he turned the color of pink cotton candy. Ashton did not know the dog had been out all morning and was lonely and thirsty. The dog barked all day until the neighbor came home in the afternoon. Later that day, Ashton went to the freezer to get an ice cream sandwich. He reached into the box. "Hey, the box is empty! Who took the last ice cream?" he shouted. He ran to the back porch, where he found his 4-year-old brother trying to reach the chocolate ring around his lips with his tongue and held a dripping mass of ice cream between 2 chocolate cookies in his chubby hands. "What are you doing with that?" Ashton said between gritted teeth. A tear slid down his brother's face as he held the treat out to Ashton. "Nah, I don't want it. You licked it," Ashton said, and he got a little redder, like a sunburn, as he stomped off. Ashton did not know that he ate all the sandwiches except the last one, the only ice cream his brother had gotten. He went into the family room to watch his favorite show. His mom beat him to the TV. She flapped her arms wildly and kicked her legs to some workout show. He chewed on the inside of his lower lip to keep from saying something he shouldn't. "I'm riding my bike to the park." He stomped from the room without getting permission to go to the park. His face turned redder and redder and looked like a tomato with eyes. "Be home for supper," she called to him last minute as he slammed the door. When Ashton got to the park, he came to a narrow footbridge, but he had to wait before going over. An elderly lady scooched along with a walker. It took a long time for her to cross. "Come on," he grumbled under his breath. "Young man, I am old and feeble, not deaf. You respect your elders and mind your tongue," she commanded. He did not like being told what to do, especially by a stranger. His face was so red now he looked like a red-hot chili pepper. Finally, she was over the bridge. He crossed as fast as he could and passed her on the other side and didn't say "excuse me." He did not know the lady had not been out of her house for a very long time because she was scared to go out, and she had worked up the courage all day to go to the park that evening. The very next day, he was waiting in the school lunch line. The lunch lady raised the spoon of hash from the serving bowl to a plate. He called around the other kids, "Hey, hurry up!" He was not patient and was so angry now it looked like his head would explode. Ashton's face was as red as lava inside a volcano. I think steam came out of his ears. The lady's mouth turned up on one side when she looked at him, but did not go any faster. He did not know she'd been up all night with her sick little girl in the hospital where she left her. The lunch lady worried all day. At the end of the school day, the quiet time came. Kids could read or do homework for the last half hour. Ashton reached into his backpack to get his comic book, but it was gone. Instead, he felt a thick rectangle book. "That is why my pack feels so heavy," he thought. He grabbed and pulled. "My Bible! How did that get in there?" He looked around to see if anyone was watching. He did not want to read it, but he had nothing else to read. He randomly opened to a page, and his eyes fell on the verse, Proverbs 16:32. "He that is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he that ruleth his spirit than he that taketh a city." He thought, and turned to another page, Ephesians 4:26. "Be ye angry and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath." He tried one more time. He closed the book and opened it in another spot. Ecclesiastes 7:9. Be not hasty in thy spirit to be angry, for anger resteth in the bosom of fools. It had been a long time since Ashton read his Bible, and a much longer time since he had prayed. He felt ashamed for the anger in his heart. He bowed his head and asked God to forgive him and please help him control his emotions. Ashton promised God he would apologize to the people he treated wrongly. He kept his promise and did just that. He didn't apologize to the dog, but asked his neighbor if he could take the dog for a walk when he seemed like he needed to get out for exercise, since the neighbor was not home most of the time. He was working 2 jobs to pay off some bills. That is precisely what the dog needed, because he quit barking, and Ashton also ensured the pet always had a bowl full of water. Ashton then bought his younger brother an ice cream with money he'd been saving. He then found where the elderly lady lived and took her flowers that he had picked out of the garden, asking his mother's permission. The lady felt touched by the kindness and forgave him. She invited him for chocolate chip cookies, hot out of the oven, still gooey and oh so good, with a cup of cold milk. After that, the two became excellent friends, and he would walk to the park with her almost every day. Ashton asked the lunch lady to forgive him too, and she told him about her daughter. He volunteered to help her at lunchtime and serve the food until her daughter left the hospital. The line went much faster. Ashton changed his attitude, and God changed his heart. As red as a fire engine, his face changed back to normal. Instead of thinking only about himself, he thought about others and their needs over his own. The end. I have a question for you. Do you get angry? Do you get mad and upset at other people? Maybe we don't know what they're going through, and we need to show a little bit of love, kindness, and compassion. I want you to know something. You are special, and you are loved.